We welcome our listeners to the Friendly Cross-European podcast. I'm Karoliina from Finland, and joining me is Marion from France. We are the Outspoken Two, and we invite you to be your authentic self. In this episode, we are going to talk about our worst experiences as working in customer service. Tervetuloa, welcome, bienvenue, and let us go.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing okay, enjoying the spring waves in Finland. It's plus 6 degrees. How are you doing?
I'm good. I enjoyed real spring,
Real.
where it's 20.
That's summer.
It's not -6. -6 is winter in France. We have great weather right now, and I've been walking and seeing trees with flowers on it and everything. It's beautiful.
That's cute. We still have snow on our yard and ice on our yard, so that's the spring. We have been breaking the ice with our neighbors because the yard is made of sand and mud, so it's beautiful. We have more than one dog in this apartment building, so we are enjoying our dogs being all muddy.
That's great.
And with my dog, we have been outside for 1 hour to 4 hours every day trying to get some sun. My goal is to get a Finnish tan. So if I start now, in 4 months, you can tell that I have been outside.
Yeah, I already had a small sunburn. I spent, I don't know the word in English. You might know, Easter. With my boyfriend's family at my parents' house. Without my parents, no, crazy.
Okay.
It makes sense when you know the full story.
Okay.
So we had a barbecue and we spent the afternoon lounging in the sun, and my arms were a tiny bit red. It was just really small sunburn, but still.
I managed to get over Easter also a red face from the sun, but I needed 4 hours direct sunlight for that. It was actually plus 11. It was the hottest day of the year this far. I really did enjoy that, and now we are going to have -6 next week forecasted. I'm not looking forward to that.
I bet.
So, you wanted to start by announcing the presidential election, outcomes.
Yeah, because it's the second round was today. Yes, you can figure out when we recorded this one. Because I talked about the first rounds and how I wasn't happy with the results. For sure, I wouldn't have been really happy with any of them, but there are ones that are worse, you know? You can be unhappy with everyone, but see, I don't want any of you, but you are worse. It would be worse if you get the job. So we stay with the same president, it seems, because we have results, but not really results at 8 o'clock in France. But we have the definitive result tomorrow. But usually it's the winner stays the winner. It just changed the percentages of everyone. It's happened with the first round because we had 3 who had the most votes. We have Emmanuel Macron, that is our president right now, Marine Le Pen, and then Jean-Luc Mélenchon. And Jean-Luc Mélenchon, the third one, he gained 2, 3, 4% in the night. So it changed a bit, but didn't change the result that it was on the second round. And we keep our president. I think it's better than the other option. My boyfriend always teases me because I want a woman president, and I said, yes, but I don't want a woman president just because she's a woman. I want a competent one. I want someone who is competent at a job, like they can do the job. And if they can be a woman, I think it's great. I also believe that we shouldn't judge people other than on their gender. And I think that many persons are just disqualifying people just because they are women. And I think that's not what we should do. But I don't want a woman just to have a woman.
Yeah. Is the like president the actual leader? Because I think in Finland the president like represents everyone, but the prime minister is the actual person who has the most power.
It depends. The person who has the most power is the one who has the more seats in our parliament. If it happens that it's the same party as the president has most power. If it's someone else, this someone else become our prime minister, and then this person has more power. But
okay.
If the president, like we have for these 5 years, we have a president who has the majority in parliament. So he chooses his own prime minister, and the prime minister does what the president says, because everyone in parliament does what the president says. But it happens that a decade ago or something, we have something that is called cohabitation, where the president and the prime minister were from opposite parties, because it's not 10 years ago, it's 20.
And we haven't aged today.
Yeah, I'm getting older and I forget. So we had a prime minister that was chosen because the president didn't have a choice. It was not his pick. And the prime minister had really a lot of power. In France, when you study politics a bit in class, the easy definition is the president is mostly concerned with exterior affairs, like representing the people around the world, and the prime minister is concerned about the interior, the day-to-day of the country. It's usually how it's cut, but we have what we call un roi soleil at our governance right now, or a Jupiter president, the Roman god. And it's a president who believes that everything has to do with him and he has to deal with everything. So yeah, that's one point when I don't like him.
Okay, because in Finland, the prime minister is representing the country in the European Union, for example. And the president is the one who is talking to the people. And we have had quarrels between the prime minister and the president, because the president wants to be more involved in the European Union. So they might send both to represent the country. But it's the electoral winning party chooses the prime minister. So we kind of have more power this way, because the people are choosing the party that chooses the prime minister, and they are taking care of the country more than the president. So it's a different system.
The president in France has a lot of power because he can disassemble the government, and he can do as well with the parliament. It happened when we changed, like, before it was 7 years in power for the president, that we can renew once, so 12 in total, and the parliament was 5 years. So it could change, and that's why we got the cohabitation. And the president who had to face that decided to make the president go for 5 years, and he made sure by disassembling the parliament that the parliament was elected the same, like it's a month apart between the president and the parliament. So mostly the parliament just stays with the president, because when you just voted for someone to be president, you vote for his party for parliament. So we have less power right now that we used to have because they make because they have too much power. Yeah. So just let's change the subject because this is not the subject of this episode.
No. 10 minutes of politics in the beginning. That's very, how do you say, light way to start a podcast.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to tell you the story of how I'm not coming to see you this spring, like we planned.
We planned, to record the last episode of this season together, and we won't be able to.
Yes, because I will tell you now why. I need a new head. It's all started. I had the tickets already bought, and you already took days of work so that we can be together. I took days of work so that I can come. And last weekend, over to Easter, I realized that I forget everything. On Sunday, I was supposed to meet my mother-in-law, and I wake up at 11:30, of course, because that's an appropriate time for an artist to wake up. And I remember that I have already asked my neighbors to have a barbecue outside, and I promised to bake them something. And of course, I haven't started baking. I should be out 30 minutes from the time when I woke up. And I realized that I have double booked lunch and a barbecue with my neighbors. That was okay still. We asked the mother of my boyfriend to come to the barbecue and everything was fine. I sent a happy birthday text to one of my friends, and he answered that his birthday is 10 days from now, so I misremembered one digit from his birthday. And I asked him if he would like to come for coffee on Monday. And I wake up on Monday and I realize that I have double booked myself again on Monday. I made reservations for my boyfriend's mother's birthday to a fine restaurant. And I double booked myself to a coffee with a friend and the restaurant. That was fine again because my friend, he came before we went to the restaurant. We had a very quick coffee and then we were off to eat with the mother-in-law. And then on Tuesday, I wake up and I realized that bitch doesn't have a passport. And I was so I panicked. I'm like, okay, my passport expired in 2019. We are in 2022. And everyone knows the reason why I haven't needed a passport for the past 2 years. But I realized that, well, we can get a passport in 3 or 5 days. It's not a long process in Finland. And I go to the webpage of the police officers, and they are saying that there is a huge queue to get a passport, and I'm going to need 6 to 12 weeks to get an appointment so that they can get my fingerprints, and then I'm going to need 12 days on top of that to get my passport. And my trip would have been in 3 weeks. So the math doesn't add up.
It's funny because, you already have a passport, so they already have your fingerprints.
They do. And I think I should have gotten a new passport before my last one expired, so that they wouldn't have needed my fingerprints and my signature. But because I didn't, I have to wait. So my trip is going to be postponed by 5 months because of my own idiocy. And this is where I'm at the moment. Even my calendar is not helping me at this point. There's no saving me.
The funny thing is, we'll record something together for the second season, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. That's fun. I'm planning ahead. It's all planned. It's all meant to be. So I'm planning to come for my birthday now. Oh, well, actually, before my birthday. But I was planning to go abroad anyway in October, so I guess I will be moving my flights to France. But at this point, you might also already have your own house, so I can come and see.
Yeah, I hope. Yeah. You won't see this apartment? It's great. I'll send you a video one day. It's still a great apartment, but I hope, yeah, we'll have my perfect little apartment with my boyfriend.
Yeah, but an own house is an own house, you know. That's
Yeah.
a huge thing.
Yeah, it's different
Yeah.
to buy something, yeah. And the thing is, I was watching some documentary, like something from a journalist,
Yeah.
something like that, about a family, because in one part of France, with the quarantine, we have like people who are really wanted to like buy a secondary house where they can quarantine if something happens.
Okay.
And they really liked southwest of France. My parents did the same, just so you know. So a lot of Parisians did that. I'm kind of the problem. My parents are kind of the problem, but people are not, the people who live there right now are not able to buy houses or to rent houses right now. Like it's very it's kind of gentrification, I think. I guess I'm not sure if I'm using the term right, but yeah, people with a lot of money are buying houses in this part of the France, and people who live there are not able to live there anymore. And there was a family of 6, like 4 kids, 2 parents, who were evicted from the house because the person who was the
Landlord?
the landlord, yeah, I think wanted to sell the house for a huge profit because the price went up. So the person who lives in here doesn't have the money to buy it. So and there is no rent that is accessible to them anymore.
Oh, that sucks.
So they don't have anywhere to go. And I'm like, oh, it's horrible. And I never want to be in this situation. So I want to own my house so I cannot get evicted, you know? And yeah, it was one of my priority in life. Because I always said to myself, if I ever wanted children, I want to have a house of my own before. Because I cannot get evicted and there is always a roof.
Mm.
You can have many issues in life and not be able to repay your mortgage. You know, you can be evicted, but it's way more difficult to get evicted from the place you own. If you can pay, nothing happens. But if you don't pay rent, or if the renter is just saying, like, the landlord is just saying, goodbye, you have no say in it. Even if in France it's way more difficult to evict someone.
Mm. Yeah, the first thing I asked our landlord when we moved with my boyfriend was that, is she going to sell the apartment? I was happy to hear that she is not planning to sell this, and she actually came and checked this place over Easter, what we did with it. She's a very nice woman, and she was telling us that, I hope that you stay here a long time. And I think that's a change, because I have moved 4 times in 2 years, and it was starting to take a toll on me.
Yeah, I guess. You know, we are visiting apartments right now, and we visited an apartment where the renter are still in it, and we would buy with them in it. And because we want to live in it, if we had bought it, we would like bought it, and they have like a time, their contract. We cannot evict them for the time of the contract. It was ended in August 2023, so a year from now.
Yeah.
And we would have to evict them if we wanted to live in it. Our apartment was bought like that. Our landlord changed, but he wants to keep us in it. They don't want to evict us, but we could have been evicted at the end of our contract.
Yeah.
You can buy an apartment with someone in it, and just the landlord just changed name on your paperwork, and that's it.
Yeah, That's true. And that's a horrible segue to the actual topic of the episode 20 minutes in.
Sorry, we drowned the donkey again.
Yes, so many donkeys.
We're bad at this, I guess.
We are amazing because we can just keep talking and talking, and
Yeah,
it's a
that's true.
never-ending flow of episodes.
This will never end.
Yeah. Imagine us when we are in our 50s. I'm in my rocking chair that I inherited from my grandmother when I finally have a big enough apartment where I can have it, and we are still talking and still recording.
There is no end to this. We'll die before we end this podcast. Not sure. You know, we don't know life. Maybe sometimes. I don't think so. We'll hate each other.
That's true. Always possible. I have a couple of friends that have known me since I was a child. But she moved to the south of Finland, and I think she's a totem of the fact that when you see me once a year tops, I'm a tolerable person.
That's not true.
I know.
I used to spend a lot of time with you.
Yes. And my dog doesn't hate me. She has known me for 10 years. So
Your dog loves you.
she loves everyone.
She loves you. No, but she truly loves you. You can see it.
You can take a sausage in your hand and run to the different direction, and she will follow you instead of me. So what's the story about your customer service experiences? How many jobs have you had in customer service?
I had 2 kind of jobs. I was a florist for 3 weeks. I talked about it a bit in another podcast, but I was that. And also I was a cashier, but also someone who puts things in the, like, they call this commercial, polyvalent commercial. Commercial polyvalent in French. That was the name. And actually, we did everything in the store.
Okay.
Like putting things back on the shelf, taking care of customers, cleaning, doing the cashier, everything. You did everything. Stocking the back, everything is done by you. So I did those 2 things, and the cashier thing I did in 2 different locations.
Okay.
Everything was when I was a student.
A little extra cash.
Yeah. Not to make the impression that I had to, because many students in France have to work. I didn't have to work. I want to make that clear. And my parents paid for everything. I'm really grateful for them. And the cash that I made on summers and on little jobs were just for me. And it was like extra cash. But I want to say thanks to them. They did not do everything right, but that they did. It must be said. So yeah, I have many stories. Mostly when I was... No, I have one from when I was a florist. And I was like, you piece of shit human being. Maybe it's a bit harsh, but you know, she wanted me to make a bouquet of roses. Classic. It was for the end of the year, and many parents buy bouquets for the teachers for when the kid is in primary school. You don't do that when they are after 11. You stop doing that when they're 11, but from 3 to 10, 11, you do that because the teacher is the same all week. It's just one teacher. And mostly the kids get the teacher chocolate, flowers, or stuff like that at the end of the year.
That's cute.
It's traditional. And so we knew at this point that we would have a lot of customers who wanted a cheap bouquet for the teacher.
Yeah.
So we made a lot of them for a week before the end of classes. And one mother just came to me. They picked themselves the flowers and we make the bouquets. So she picked the flowers and she says, I'm in a rush. I'm saying, okay, I'll do my best to be quick. So I started to remove the spines, of the roses. I don't know if it's called that, but the pointy things that hurts.
Yeah.
Thorns. Yeah. I started to remove that, because I have to use my hand to make the bouquet, so I have to be able to hold the flowers. And she says, "Do you have to do that? Because I'm really in a rush. It's hurting my hands if I don't do that." And she's like, "Oh yeah, I know, but I'm in a rush." And I say, no, I'm just gonna do it like that, because I'm not gonna just put fucking thorn in my hands just because you're in a rush. Just manage your time better, woman. So I was really, I was flabbergasted. I was like, what the fuck? What do you think I'm doing? Do you think it's funny? I do that for fun? So yeah, that was my terrible experience with that.
But 1 in 3 weeks, that's okay. Manageable.
Yeah, it was okay. I had actually a great experience, because I'm gonna do one of each for this one. Because as you can hear, I can speak English. Most of my coworkers, no, not most, every of my coworker couldn't speak a word of English. And this guy was coming every week. Did always the same thing, but couldn't talk to anyone because no one spoke English, and he was only able to speak English. That one time, it's me that served him, and I started to chat with him in English. And the guy was like, "Oh my god, someone can speak to me at last." And he was so happy, and I was so happy for him, and I was like, gosh, I don't know if he lives here. If he lives in France, I think it's not great that he's not speak French. But if it's just vacation. Yeah. In the service industry, it's kind of difficult not to speak English now. But yeah. So that was my story when I was a florist. Do you have any?
So one very disappointed customer and one very pleased customer.
Yeah.
This English-speaking guy reminds me of one time I worked in a very prestigious hotel, one of the best in the town. I was a waitress in the restaurant, and my colleague comes very upset, and she tells me that she has a table where the guy is watching her like she's a cheap sausage, watching down on her, and she asked me to bring him a beer. If I'm put up with a person like this, I just take all my charisma and I'm going to be extra pleasant with this guy. And I was happy to bring his beer to the table and to take his order. So I took over her table. And when I get there, he is talking English. And I ask him where he's from. And he's from Barcelona. And I happen to study Spanish. So I start speaking in Spanish with him. And he was so happy he started talking in Spanish with me. And he was explaining that for his work, he also speaks French. And I started speaking in French with him. And then he tells me that, yeah, I speak Japanese as well. And I say, "Watashi mo," me too. And I'm like, we have all the same languages. And he wasn't looking at me like a cheap sausage after that.
That's great.
I could have flexed. Yeah, I could have flexed still with German and Swedish and Finnish on top of these languages. But I was so happy to serve him. And my friends at the restaurant were eavesdropping on me at the table. And they were like, "Which language were you talking with him?" And I'd be like, "It's Spanish." They're like, "I didn't know you speak Spanish." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm so fucking talented.
You are.
I speak a little bit of everything." Yeah, I like this story.
It's a good story.
I was happily serving him. It was my first customer in Spanish, actually.
It started not great, but it ended great.
Yeah, I speak a lot of French at work. For some reason, we had a lot of French customers, even during the quarantine. So I was very happy to serve in French for them. And the French are always so happy when I speak French to them, you know?
That's true.
Yeah.
French people love when you speak their language, and they don't have to make any efforts whatsoever.
Yeah, that's so true. And then we have had one German couple and one Swedish lady. And English, of course, it's a normal thing to do at the restaurant. But yeah, that was my story about the languages. So what's up next?
When I was a cashier,
Mm-hmm.
I guess there are many that are quite similar. Like, people are just horrible with you. They think so little of you. It's
Yeah, they are
unbelievable,
above you
I guess.
in every way.
Yeah, they think, because they have a way to think that because you are here, especially when you are here on the work week, because they believe that you have nothing else to do, and that is your permanent job. If you are on the weekends, they mostly believe that you are a student. But if they see you on the work week, they believe you are just a piece of trash. Not all of them. I may say most of them are not like that, but there are truly people like that.
Yeah.
And when I was a student, I would work on Tuesdays.
Mm-hmm.
Because it worked better for me and because I wanted my weekends. So when I work pretty much all year. And yeah, people were just shit.
Oh.
Many people don't say hi. Like, just say hi. That's not difficult. Bonjour. That's it. Just a little bit of respect. They talk on the phone. They don't respect you. Once, I remember this interaction because it was really, I thought it was insane. The guy talked to me because many people just don't talk, but this one just said, bag.
What?
Like, I said, hi, and he said, bag. And it was like, come on, I'm a person. Just say hi. Can I have a bag, please?
Yeah.
All of it in French, you might know, but I'm translating. It's not difficult to translate a sentence that is just one word. So yeah, the guy just not screamed at me, but very rudely just said bag. And I'm like, dude, come on, just say, can I have a bag, please? Come on, where were you raised? I'm a person. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's rude. Some people are so rude. Just actually yesterday at my shift, one woman stole a wine bottle from the buffet. That's like...
What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. She was coming for white wine. And I wasn't there, my colleague was. And then my colleague comes and he's like, yeah, the woman came and she took the bottle, poured herself some wine and then put the bottle in her bag. Like, okay, that's nice.
That's not great.
Enjoy the wine, lady. I hope it tastes well. It was an entertaining party all over, but she was a piece of work. We didn't ask for the bottle back. The party was almost over that I was hosting, and my plan was that if her colleagues come and ask for more wine, I would have pointed at her and told them that ask her if they want more wine. I'm brutal. I was laughing at my plan, but it didn't happen. And I worked... Yeah, this is also a story from the restaurant I'm at. It's at an hotel, so many of the people who are staying at the hotel, like, they come and eat there. And it's a very fine restaurant, an expensive one. And there was this one woman, and she was waiting by the hostess's desk. And I was taking care of a party, so I wasn't working at the restaurant at the time. And I look over the woman, and she's lifting her hands there, like giving me a look, like, what are you doing? You should be like giving me service. And I go over to her, and she says that she wants to eat at a restaurant, and we are fully booked, and we had a staff shortage. And I told her to wait because I'm not working at a restaurant, but I know that we are not going to take her in, and I take the hostess. And I go to my colleague and I say, a very unpleasant woman waiting in the hostess's area. And my colleagues just laugh because they already know what's coming up. And this woman, I had to go over and overhear what the conversation was like, because the hostess goes and says, we are fully booked. And she starts a show at the front. And she's so offended that she has to exit the hotel and go eat someplace else because we are fully booked. And she's telling the hostess that she's going to call the owner of the hotel that has given us the orders not to take more tables because we don't have the people to serve anyone. And the hostess is just going like, yeah, you do that. We can get you some food to your room, if that's okay with you. That we can do. But we can't take you into the restaurant. And they went back and forth quite some time before she exited the restaurant very offended. And that's also like, you don't have to be rude when you are trying to get service. You are going to get better service when you are nice.
That's true. Many people think that if they yell at you, they're gonna get what they want. I'm doing everything in my power to not get you what you want.
Yeah.
If you yell at me.
I will give you what you want, but I will be taking my time with it. You are not my first priority if you are a dick to me. You are the last at the bottom of the barrel. This reminds me of one family that was eating at a restaurant, and they ordered entrees, then main course for the kids, and no entrees for the kids, and the main course for the parents. And they said that everything should come to the table at once. So obviously, I tell the kitchen to make everything, and I'll just take everything to the table at once. And when I served their food, the father told me that he wanted their entrees with the kids' food. And I'm like, well, you said that everything should come at the same time. That's what I did. It's a communication issue. I did what you asked me. And the father was so offended. He was like, this is so unprofessional. I don't believe this is horrible service. And I'm like, you told me to bring everything at the same time. What did you expect me to do? I didn't read your mind. Next time, say that you want the entrees with the kid food at the same time. That I can understand. If you say, bring everything to the table at the same time, that's what I'm going to do.
Oh, many people think that you can read their minds. It's insane. I cannot read your mind. Just tell me what you want in detail, and then I can do that.
Only my boyfriend can read my mind.
Mine too. When you know someone very well, you can see what they mean. And I think it's great.
Oh yeah, and my boyfriend comes from the store or when he is coming from work and I want some takeout, but then I think, oh, it's so expensive, maybe we shouldn't do it today, and then he comes home with it. He did it today. It was
That's so nice.
I know. We are on the same wavelength with him. But if you are a customer, I'm not reading your mind. Not at all.
That's true. Many people are just fucking insane.
Do you have more stories from the cashier?
Oh, yeah. One time, a woman, without saying hello as well, just dropped a basket with all of it. Just dropped it on the
counter or
tapiolo. Yeah, on the thing where you put your groceries, the moving
belt.
Yeah.
Let's say
you
it's
know.
it's a moving belt now. Everyone knows what you
Yeah.
mean.
It's a new word,
Yes.
moving belt, where you put your groceries where they can slowly but surely get to the
Yes,
cashier.
we are both English professors at this point.
Yeah. So she just put the basket, not emptying it. You know, you can move the basket, you empty it on the belt, and then it goes to the cashier, and then you load it back up in your basket or everything that you came. No, not that. You put it into bags that you brought yourself or you buy them, and then you go out with it and you leave the basket.
In ideal world, yeah.
And she just put the basket on the belt. And I'm like, shit, do you want me to unpack your things as well?
Oh.
So I just got up because it was fucking too high for me because I was sitting. I couldn't grab things in the fucking basket. So I got up, I took the basket, and I just flipped it. I looked at her, gave her the basket, and said, "Can you put that back?" And she looked at me like I was insane. I'm like, "What are you gonna do?" Shut up and do what I said. So she grabbed the basket, looked at me, just, what the fuck happened? Put it back, and was like, "You piece of shit human being."
Yeah.
I'm a person. Say hi and unload your shit. Did you never get into a fucking supermarket before?
There's a culture here. Respect it.
No, you know, I had great customer in this location. It was the first one I worked at for this franchise. And I had great customer because it was in a town that was very, very close to Paris, Levallois-Perret, who has pretty much the same culture, very rich people. And we were on the ground floor of the building. And many people of the building just get their groceries at our place. So many were just like, "Can I take the car to my place? I will bring it back."
Okay.
And yeah, we did that. And we had many like recurrent customers, and we would chat with them. And they were very great. One of them, I thought was a stripper or a prostitute. Because she had a lot of cash always on her, but like a lot of big bills, like there are 500 euros and stuff like that. You don't see them often. In France, most of place don't take them, and nobody can, like, you have to ask for at the bank to get those. Like the ATM will never give you that kind of cash. So it was like, what do you do in life where you have no credit card and a lot of really big bills?
Yeah. The little detective in you.
Yeah, I was like, what? One time she tried to buy, like, for 11 euros of groceries with a 500 euros.
Really?
Yeah.
There's not enough cash to give back from that.
Yeah. So I looked at her and I said, no, it's not gonna happen. You know, I don't have the cash to, like, give you back, because most of in this franchise that I won't name, the maximum cash you have in the beginning of the day, it's 150 euros. That's it. That's your cash register. Come on, cash register. And when you go to like something like 250, 300 euros, they make you an alert, so you take some of the cash with you and bring it to the safe. So you really have more than 150 euros on the cash register. So yeah, I was like, no, it's not gonna happen. So she gave me a 100 euro bill, and I'm like, come on, it's €11. What are you doing? So I put it in, and I start giving the cash back. It empties my cash register, and just when I finish giving it to her, hold the cash, she says, "Oh, but I had the cash," and I'm like, come on. That wasn't bad. She was great. She was friendly and everything, but I was like, come on, it's difficult.
Yeah, please don't do that. It's a lot of hassle. But that's weird because in the places I have worked, we have like 230 to 250 euros in the register usually.
Yeah.
So that's a difference.
Yeah, and yeah, she was fine. And for the record, she was not a prostitute nor a hooker. That she said to me, because actually she lived in Australia. She actually said to me, "Go live in Australia. It's really great for French people. We make a lot of cash." And I guess, oh, you don't have a French bank account. That's why you just get money at the bank for your vacation. Come on.
I see.
So I was in the wrong. She was not a stripper nor a hooker. She was just on vacation.
Yeah, that I have had a lot of interesting customers when I was a karaoke hostess. So basically, I did that for 3 years, I think. And I'm just going there, like making everything work, handling the equipment, queuing the songs, and entertaining the customers. It was a nice job because I got a lot of experience singing in a public setting because I could sing and dance. So I was a very liked hostess. I actually had a little cult going that they always asked me when I'm working so that they come only when I'm working to the pub.
That's sweet.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I was just not... Well, yeah, when I started at the hotel, the shifts were on top of each other and I chose the hotel for the experience. Anyhow, there were sometimes people that think that they are something. You know this type, like they think that they are the hot shit. And usually they would come very late in the evening and in a packed place, the queue for one song can be up to an hour. So you have to wait for an hour before you can sing because there are other people in there.
Oh, there are other people. Interesting.
Yeah, karaoke is a huge thing in Finland. That's why there are like hostesses in many places. And my only job in many of the places was just to entertain the guests who came to sing there. And there is a separate person working at the bar. And these guys, I have so many, but it's always the same script. They come in, they request to sing immediately, which I'm not doing. I don't care who you are. You can be the Queen of England and want to sing. I'm not putting you in front of everyone else. And this one guy comes and he's like, yeah, I'm a very famous singer. I want to sing this song. And I'm like, yeah, you have to wait 40 minutes. And he came back. Every 3 songs, he's coming back and he's like, almost taking the microphone, trying to wrestle it from my hand and saying that I'm singing the next song. And I'm like, I'm not giving you the next song. You still have to wait 15 minutes. And one song before his turn, between each song, I'm announcing who is singing what next and making little jokes and chit-chat there. And I announce the name of the next singer. And again, this guy comes up and he's like, let me sing instead. And I'm like, I have told you 5 times you are not singing before anyone else. If you want to sing, you have to wait for your turn. If someone wants to change their turn with you, yeah, that's okay with me, but they have waited for 40 minutes as well. And he goes to the guy whose turn it is to sing and starts picking up a fight with him because he wants the microphone and he wants to sing. Yeah.
Dude, this is insane. Come on.
He takes the microphone from the guy whose turn it is and tries to sing his song. I'm muting the microphone because I have all the power. And I take another microphone and I'm like, give back the microphone to the other person. Because he was getting mad that no sound was coming from the microphone. And he's yelling at me to turn the sound up again. And I'm like, no, give the microphone back to the original person. And he does. And he stands next to the person who is singing. And he's like yelling insults to the person. Because he was so irritated that he couldn't sing immediately.
Come on.
And I know, and that happened so many times. I once had a guy who was like, I was in the best 3 of the best Finnish karaoke singer 2020.
Who cares?
Yeah, I know. How is that supposed to impress me? I don't care. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, good for you. It's 40 minutes line. Enjoy your wait. Drink a beer.
I always hate when someone is trying to skip a line. I have 2 stories about that I'll talk about when you finish yours.
Yeah, no, that's the story. Because there are people like that. And sometimes they even try to give me money to skip the line, but I wouldn't take it. I'm a killjoy.
Come on.
I didn't become a rich bitch. I kept my principles.
You shouldn't. Yeah, for me I have like one story was actually it's a weird story. So I'm gonna say the color of the person because it matters for the rest of the story. Okay? I'm not the kind of person who actually I see color. I'm not the kind of girl who says, I don't see color, you know? Everyone has biases. I try to work on mine so they don't impact my life too much. So I try to treat people equally whenever I can. So this guy come to my cash register and I scan everything, I make him pay, and then he asks me where the Coke are. Okay, they're there. You can grab one and come in the line again and pay. Why did you just ask someone before you came to the cash register? You know? So the stories are kind of weird, and you can come to the end of the register without exiting the store. So if you haven't paid, you can come to the end of the line already. It's kind of weird. Wait, but I don't think I can explain it too well. But let's just say he grabs a Coke, come to the register and try to skip the line.
Oh.
And I say, yes, you have paid already, but you have to do the line again. Because you cannot skip people, even if you already paid for something like 2 minutes ago. He wouldn't take it. And he started arguing with me that, yes, because I just paid like 2 minutes ago, and it's just one article, I can just skip the line. And I'm like, no, you cannot. Dude, no. Go at the back of the line, and that's it. So after like 5-10 minutes of it, the guy just leaves. And I'm like, okay. He went to another cashier, I guess. Or dropped the Coke. I don't know. He wasn't at my cashier things. I my station again. And there were 2 middle-aged women after. And I couldn't do so they had to wait. And they congratulated me on not caving in, and that it was the good thing to do. And then one of them started to be racist.
Really?
She was like, oh, the black ones, they're always trying to skip line. And I'm like, oh no. That's not my point. Anyone who tries to skip a line does not skip the line. It's nothing to do with his fucking color. Who cares? So I was like, oh my god. I cannot deal with that. And I was horrified. I was truly horrified. So I was like, haha, okay, leave now. So I rushed her and I was like, bye-bye. I don't want to talk to you, racist piece of shit. And it was so casual the way she said it. Like, she was not like laughing. She was truly thinking like, you know, these black guys. And I was like, oh my God, what kind of person are you?
Get out of my workplace, please.
Please just leave.
Not the kind of company I keep.
Oh, yeah. And the second one, it's quite a long story because it was someone who came to the store regularly. So, he was a drunk. Or I guess I saw him as a drunk. I don't know his life. But when you come multiple times a day to buy alcohol, there's not much things I can think. And he was handicapped. And it can be difficult, and I don't know his life. And I think he was also someone who was asking for money in the street. Because he always came with a little cash, like pennies and stuff like that.
Yeah, change.
Yeah, small change. To buy one can of beer at a time, the cheapest one. And so he was always drunk, and many times he dropped the cans on the floor. They would explode, and he just left, not asking to help cleaning or anything. Like, we had to clean beer multiple times after this dude. He was creepy as fuck. He had a thing for me. He was always come to my station when I was available. So, and one time, a woman, a young girl, not young girl, a young woman, I think something like I was at the time, 20, had a tattoo on her neck. And he started to creep her on her, like, just literally, like, breathing on her neck, telling her about her tattoo and stuff like that. And I looked at her and I said, do you want me to call security? Because we had security. And I said, do you want me to call security? I can, and I will get him removed. The comments that he was making was not okay. So I tried to, like, break things apart, telling him he had to stop. And she was like, no, I guess you have it worse than me. And I was like, yeah, but that's not the question. Do you want him removed? And she said, no, it's okay. You know, we are used to deal with it in France, I guess. Yeah. So I didn't like the dude, you know. It made it worse. He was horrible then, and it made it worse. And one time we had a lot of customers. So the lines were really big. Every cashier was at the cashier spot because we couldn't open any more cash registration. So he came with a friend, and they have all their groceries. When it's their turn, the other guy left and said, oh, I forgot things. And I say, you have been in line for, I think, a full half an hour, not a half an hour, like a quarter of an hour. You had time to go grab things. So I don't have time to wait for him. Like, the line is long, and I'm saying, you know, you had time. I waited a bit, you know. I'm not some human being. I'm trying to make it worse for you. So I waited a bit, and it wouldn't came. So I made the guy pay, and he waited. He took all the things, and he left.
Without his friend?
Yeah. And he stayed at my station, but, you know, he put everything in bags and everything.
Yeah.
And I had time to, like, put, I think, 2-3 person more before the other guy came and tried to skip the line. And I'm like, no, it's too late now. You just go back to the line. I know it's long, but, you know, doesn't matter. Not my problem, you know? You cannot skip 4-5 people just because you waited. You know what he did, by the way? He took the time to make the machine squeeze fresh orange juice. That's what he did. No. Because we had a station to squeeze to make fresh orange juice. So that's what he did.
Okay.
And I was like, come on, did you think it would take 10 minutes to make orange juice from scratch? So, yeah. So I said, go back to the line, to the end of the line. You're not going through 5-6 people who've been waiting in line for 15 minutes just because you Took 15 minutes more to take the things you forgot. And his friend, the one who was the drinker, started to argue with me that he had to, and that he was handicapped, and that he had the right to skip the line. And I say, okay, I'm not the handicap cashier, but you know what? Show me your card and I'll take it. And the guy says, I don't have it on me. So you have no proof. You don't have the right to skip the line. Go back to the end of the line. So he goes to the end of the line after many, things to say. And yeah, I put it in and I thought it was over. I won the argument. I have the right to do the thing as I see fit. And he came back the same day.
Oh.
To show me his handicap card.
Oh.
Like 4 hours later. And I was like, dude, you're insane.
Yeah. You didn't have to do that.
You don't have to win this argument. I already won.
Next time, don't forget your orange juice.
Yeah. And so I had a regular customer. I had 3 customers. And he went bothering me when I was trying to cash them. So, not great. For them. For me. And he started yelling at me, saying that I was, because my customers who knew me started to ask me what was happening. So I explained to them the same situation as I said. And the guy started screaming in the store that I was a liar.
Really?
He said, you're a piece of shit of a liar. That's not what happened. You're a liar. You're a liar. And I said, I have these 3 customers. I keep doing the customer thing. And I closed my cash registration after that. That was what I was supposed to do. And I started keeping doing my job. He followed me in the store.
No, he didn't.
Doing my job to yell at me. And I said, you know what? I am handicapped as well. But I'm working all day. With my pain. With my problems. Don't look at me and say, I'm handicapped. I have the right to. I don't care. And I said, if I'm the only cashier in this fucking supermarket, I won't cash you. Don't ever, ever come back to my cash registration. If you do that, I won't cash you. I screamed. I didn't scream at him, but I looked him right dead in the eye and said, don't ever come back to me. I won't serve you in any shape or form. If you try to do it, if I'm the only one in the fucking store, nothing will happen and you'll have to leave without your things. I don't care. I never want to see you again.
Whoa.
And then I went to my superior and I said, you heard what happened. Are you on my side? And she said, yes, of course. You won't have to deal with them anymore. I said, okay, that's great.
Okay. Yeah, I actually wanted to ask you if he was still your fan after that, but I guess not.
He never came to my cash registration again.
Okay.
He knew.
You mean business.
Yeah.
To finish this episode, I was thinking of telling you of my hobby I had in Paris. And this actually ties a little bit to the episode. I was watching women at the stores and I found it so I found it so funny that there are women who are so well put together. Like they take time in the morning to do their hair and makeup and then they go to the store and they have this face that everything is wrong in their life. They look so miserable. And I remember watching them and thinking that they would look prettier without makeup and a smile on. So
that's terrible.
If you are ever in Paris, I recommend this hobby to everyone.
If you are ever in Paris, I don't recommend spending time in stores. Come on, there's much more funny things to do. You can just try to talk to people. You'll see what happens. That's funny as well.
Okay, We didn't agree on what we are going to talk in the next episode, so that shall be a surprise for everyone, as much as it's a surprise to us. That's all for this episode, or do you have something else to add?
Yeah, many more stories.
Really?
No, it's been an hour. I'll stop there.
We can sprinkle them in the other episodes.
Yeah, we'll do that.
We invite you to follow us on social media. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. You can find us on any podcast platform. If you have any questions or something you would like us to address, you can email us at theoutspoken2@gmail.com. Thank you, and hear you guys next time.
My.
My.
Dun, dun, dun. In the next episode of The Outspoken Two.
Let's start with one of my friends that I met at the university. She was studying chemistry with me. I'm not going to give her a name.
Yeah, that's not me. I didn't study
No.
chemistry. Want to be sure. I'm not the weird friend.
That would be an awkward episode if I were talking about you.
That is the end of this podcast. We'll never hear about this again. Bye.